Hi there and welcome to 355 Code. This is the first video in our Intro to JavaScript series. So if you're a very beginner at JavaScript and you want to kind of get into it, you want to learn more, you're in the right place. If you kind of know a little bit of JavaScript already, you might want to skip this lesson and head to one of the lessons later in the series. So welcome to your first lesson on JavaScript. To get started, if you want to follow along with me, you'll want to go to playcode.io. You could just search for that in Google. You're also welcome to use any other kind of JavaScript, online JavaScript editor of your choice. I chose this one because it gives a very nice display of both the console and the website view, and the code here you can see is colored using some AI add-ons. So the first thing that you'll want to do is make sure you're in the script.js file. That's where the JavaScript will be written. And just erase everything, all the boilerplate code that was there. And the second thing is just turn off live mode so that it doesn't update with your changes in live, because that can get quite annoying. And we'll just use this play button to run our code when we want to. So in this first lesson, we'll just cover some very basic concepts in JavaScript and hopefully get you already coding some interesting things. So let's just first of all go over some different kinds of text that you might see in JavaScript, just so that you can kind of learn how to separate between different things when we're writing code. So the first thing that you'll want to look out for is a function. And you can usually identify that by just a word written, and right next to it, you'll have parentheses. And that is usually a sign that there is a function, and sometimes we'll write something here in the middle to give instructions to the function. And we'll learn all that a little bit later, but just so that you can recognize that kind of writing. The second thing that you'll see is a string. Okay, you can tell something is a string by the quotation marks. Anything that's in quotation marks is a string. It's basically just regular writing. This string could also include numbers, but if you write a number without quotation marks, then that is just a regular number. And the last thing that I want you to look out for is true or false, and that is what we call a Boolean, something that is either true or false. So these are different kinds of things that you might see inside JavaScript. Sorry, one last thing that I do want you to look out for is just a plain old word. So let's say my name. Okay, if you see writing that looks like this, it is likely to be a variable. Okay, and a variable, you can think of it as an empty box which can hold information inside. So now that we've gone over some of these basic concepts, and I understand you might not fully grasp them at the moment, I want to show you how some of this works and get you already coding some practical things. So let's erase all of this that we have here, and I want to teach you your first function. Okay, this is the alert function. And this function is already known to JavaScript, so you don't have to tell the code what the function will do. It already knows what to do. And basically what this does is when we run our code, it will have a pop-up box from the browser and just alerting you about something. And in order to tell the box what to write inside, what the alert should be, we put the information in the parentheses, if you remember I mentioned before. So let's just say, hello world. Okay, so basically what I'm doing here is telling the browser, telling the code that I want you to run an alert, and inside that alert, I want you to say hello world. And then this semicolon is basically just like a period in JavaScript. So if we run this code, you will see playcode.io says hello world. Okay, and you can actually write whatever you want inside this code. So as